Big Blue Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Bluegrass Breakdown with my man Israel Schill. As always, almost did it. Cats almost did it. We had a big Texas game here in Lexington at Kroger Field. I thought it almost happened, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was ready. I was ready to be on the field.
It was just upsetting because I got the first taste of like the true Kentucky atmosphere for once. I've seen a lot of depleted crowds this season so far. And you have Chad Ochocinco there. You got Randall Cobb. You got Deion Walker, Ray Davis. You got Ocho over there partying in the student section. You got like Mark Pope was there. There was just like that atmosphere there finally. And then the game's really close. You know, through and through, Kentucky had momentum for, I'd say, a tad of it. And it's just like,
I'd say more than a tad of it, you know. I feel like they had a lot of momentum when you look at let me pull up the exact offensive stats. But, I mean, I think it was like 300 yards and like 86 plays compared to Texas's 30-something.
The stats do not tell. Like, the stats look like Kentucky should have won maybe 45-14 or something like that.
Definitely.
It sucks that the offense wasn't as productive as it should have been, but Israel, I know you saw it and we all saw it. Those special teams plays that happened, the return, the missed kick, how much does it mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Stoops said yesterday on the radio show that those two punt returns tallied for more punt return yards than Kentucky had allowed all the rest of the season. And it was like 70-something yards off those two punt returns.
That's hurt.
And I mean, that really, like, with, what was it, fourth quarter, Kentucky's punting away to Texas, pins them on the 1 or the 2, breaks a tackle, gets like a 50-yard return, 45-yard return. It's like, yikes.
They're not scoring there, you know?
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you guys hold them on the 1 with the way the Kentucky defense is playing, you guys aren't going to put that in.
And what I tried to argue as well, like the one that happened in the second quarter that was the first points of the ball game. Yeah. It was literally put Texas on Kentucky's 10-yard line.
Yeah.
You can't fault your defense for giving a touchdown up there. And it's like you take – I know this isn't how football works and you all can get mad at me, but like if you take away 10 points, which they scored off of big punt returns, Kentucky honestly held Texas to 6 points for an entire football game when their defense and their offense were head-to-head against each other, touchdown. Drive starts, and it's just like, that's impressive.
It's really impressive. One touchdown. I mean, Arch was 12 for 27, 132 yards, and he was getting pressured hard, like, dude, all night.
Listen, imagine if Cutter Boley had the hype that Arch Manning had, you know, like – because
I mean, if Cutter's last name was Manning, he'd been done the same thing.
Let's be honest, like Cutter just outperformed one of the top guys in the nation.
Yeah,
on the field, through and through.
But it was like, I mean, not even just Cutter. The whole team outperformed all of Texas. Literally, the only the special teams was it. The missed field goal and the 2 punt returns are the only things that held this game. Kentucky had 395 yards of total offense. No other team has let Texas get, I think, 300 this year.
Right.
You know, they had 179 yards of total offense, 8 first downs. They had 8 first downs.
Insane.
We had 26. I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy. We made them punt 8 times, nailed in 3 sacks. They only had 55 plays of total offense. Also had 7 penalties for 50 yards. Like, when you look at this, time of possession, Kentucky held the ball for 20 more minutes than them.
Yeah.
You look at these stats, it's like, it's how.
Should have been
it's just like how.
to 14, yeah.
Really, and Cutter, first of all, I want to say he came into the post-game Wildcat wrap-up interview obviously very distraught. You know, he was having a really hard time, and I felt horrible because he was, you know, on the verge of tears. Like, we were right there. And like after, you know, the last 2 weeks of them being really close against these matchups, you come in and finally have that one where you're like, holy moly, man, we can do it. And then, you know, that play calling in overtime, and Stoops' reasoning for, let's talk about that overtime real quick, because Stoops' reasoning for not kicking the field goal was if they score a touchdown there, the way Kentucky's defense was playing against Texas was looking like they could hold them to a field goal, win that game in one overtime. That's what his reasoning was.
Yeah.
And that's valid. I get it. I get the reasoning for that. What I don't get is, all right, you get the first down on that Kendrick Law end around or whatever, jet sweep, whatever it was, and then you go play action pass on first and goal or second and goal, whatever, on the 1 yard line. It's like, play falls apart, Cutter tries to scramble in, falls down on the half-yard line. You're like, all right, run it up the middle. Ran it up the middle, absolutely nothing. So then I thought, and I'm sure everybody else thought, well, hey, we just ran up the middle 3 times. Maybe let's jet sweep, bootleg it, just end around, literally anything to get it on the outside. And nope, another play right up the middle, stuffed again at the half-yard line. And it's like, who do you blame? I think Bush, but also the offensive line could have pushed 6 inches, I think. But at the same time, Texas had, I think it was 7 or 8 guys in the box on that last play, and they ran it up the middle.
Listen, like, I know you can't, like, sit there and say, like, oh, you should have been better, Mm-hmm. I think Kentucky hasn't been in those situations too often this season, they kind of just had to go with, oh, let's give it to the Derrick Henry sized back and just let him go up the gut and see what he does.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, one, I know your offense is trying to score, but getting down exactly to the 1 yard line is probably like the hardest place to score from.
Yeah,
it sounds hilarious.
No,
but
it's true.
It actually is.
It's because there's only so many plays you can run.
Right.
And it's predictable.
Like, I almost tell whatever that play was that they got to the 1 yard line, try and keep it at like the 3. So you can go shotgun. Yeah. And you have a good 10 yards to work with, and Cutter could roll out for a touchdown and hit a tight end. I
do think like K-Law got it down to what, the 2 or the 3, got pushed out of bounds. And then it was that second down play where Cutter, like, there was a play action pass. Like, I think and Cutter ran it in because I think he thought he was going to slip it in and couldn't break the plane.
Did what I said.
So they thought about it, but they,
I was so lost in the moment, dude. I was just recording like, oh my gosh.
They're
actually going to win.
I was in the recruiting. I was on the recruiting deck, like right, like in behind that end zone, like right in front of the student section. And it was basically just like all of the UK marketing interns, all of the JMI interns were just like standing on this deck, like freaking out. Like,
I don't blame them.
Like stressing, like, man, it was tough. And I was talking to the security guard in there, and I was like, man, let me tell you something. I've been here for 4 years, and I ain't never felt something like this before.
Oh, Lord.
And she was like, yeah, I was a student when we beat Alabama, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, lucky you. But, man.
It's, I will say, I called it, and I'm so happy. And I think they watched this podcast, and they were probably like, we're going to do that for Kai. Because guess what they did?
What'd they do?
They played 4 quarters of football.
They played 4 quarters of football.
Finally. South Carolina, I said they only played 1.
Georgia, they played 2, basically. Well, even just the fourth quarter,
1 and 3/4,
really. Yeah.
like, or something.
Yeah.
They played a full football game, and you see what they're capable of.
Yeah.
You see what they're capable of. Whether people hate Texas or not and think they're overrated, they're a top 20 team now. They just came off and beat Oklahoma. Frankly, I know it's the first game of the year, but if you want to get technical, they held Ohio State to 14.
Yeah.
This Texas team is darn good, and they figured out kinks, and Arch Manning slowly getting in. And it's like, I think Kentucky kind of showed like nobody's above the law. It's like, we're going to pressure you, we're going to make you uncomfortable. And you know what? Props to Kentucky football, even though there's not a W on the schedule. Just
it was a good game.
Complete props.
Yeah, like definitely. I mean,
it makes me optimistic for the rest of the year at least.
Yeah, you can be happy about the performance and angry about the outcome. Is I think the right way to look at that game. You know what I mean? Be happy that they played the way they did, and be angry that they didn't come out with the win. So I think overarching all this would be, do you think if in the next 2 weeks against Tennessee and Auburn, Kentucky puts up similar matchup fights against both of these teams and doesn't win them because of bad play calling, do you think Bush Hamdan or Stoops is gone after the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it might be at that level because I know from my account what I've heard from other people and just like fans and stuff like that. They said it felt like the players did everything they possibly could have done, and we still didn't win. And that's the feeling when you're like, okay, you know.
Yeah, like something's wrong at the helm.
Something's wrong at the helm. And again, like you said, I think having Tennessee at home is a very winnable game.
Yeah. I mean,
if you go
that
toe
offense
to toe
is
with
insane,
Texas,
but the way that the defense played against Texas shows that they can do it.
And it's like you can go toe to toe with Tennessee after doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe I think Auburn's garbage.
Auburn hasn't scored 20 points in SEC play yet.
Yeah, they have a bad O-line. Their quarterback's overrated.
So if they lose
subpar defense
bad against Auburn, to me that's like, woo, that's telling. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that with
Cutter's seen a road game now, so maybe that atmosphere won't bother him as much. But
Mitch Barnhart and I don't remember his exact title, associate AD Mark Hill was. They were standing in the back of the end zone.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
In the fourth quarter. And I'm looking at Mitch, and I'm like, this guy is either going to give Mark Stoops a 10-year extension or we lose this game and he's gone. So I do think that they're starting to take a little sharper notice, though, really, on what fans are having to say and how people feel about it.
I think what is going to scare people, though, like it right now, if you're like, I don't want Mark Stoops to be our coach, well, you know, if the season ends and he's still there, I don't think there's going to be something that happens like
in the offseason
during the offseason.
Yeah,
I think it's at a frustration point where it's like every last little needle is every last little needle, and it's like he's slowly just like, oh, it's right there. You can anticipate it. But
I mean, like, you can tell he's gone, bro.
It hurts me as not even like being a Kentucky like football fan growing up or anything like that. Like, I just started going to games as a freshman when I attended school here, and it's like you saw what he literally built by himself, and he's overdue, but it feels so weird.
No, I get what you're saying, but it's like I remember when I was a freshman and I barely knew nothing about ball at Kentucky. I was still learning. I was trying to figure out, all right, what's the culture like? What do people like? What do people don't like about Kentucky football? And when you realize that what Mark Stoops did to Kentucky football is great, like you have to accept the fact that he did great things for this franchise, this program, whatever you want to call it. But I noticed, and I felt other people notice, that he will never be the guy to bring Kentucky to the playoffs, and he will never be the guy to bring Kentucky to a championship. Yeah. And so you can have the guy that brings you to that point, but you're going to need somebody else to put you over that level.
And now, frankly, it's easier. Like, especially being an SEC team, I think you get an automatic, like, nod if you have a halfway decent year. And it's like, Kentucky could win. I could see a world where they win, like, 8 games, but they're still, like, ranked high and pull off, like, a big upset
Bro, if
in
Kentucky
the future.
goes 8-4 every year, Kentucky fans would be elated.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, like, they could still squeeze in the playoffs just because, you know, look at your conference record and it's like, well, you lost to Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, but then you beat like number 1 Vandy, and I'm just kidding, Vandy, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you could still get a very well nod after that point. So
I just feel like the way, and especially, you know, kind of what I was talking about yesterday with what college football looks like right now, with Billy Napier gone, James Franklin gone. Yeah. Like, you're seeing coaches drop like flies because they aren't doing what they should be doing. And every other school and every other program would have fired Mark Stoops 5 years ago. Maybe not 5, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, that's fair.
I wasn't going to hit the 6, 7 years ago. But no, I really do think that, I mean, how often do you see a coach go 13 seasons, only win 3 bowl games, and keep his job? I mean, Stoops probably has a losing record. I don't know, like, in the last 5 years, I mean.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I would say so. Or dead even.
He's 77 and 73 as a Kentucky coach.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrible, man.
You don't like that?
Not really. You're 4 games over 500 after 13 years as the coach?
Yeah. I mean,
and he's 36 and 62 in the SEC.
Don't tell me that. Well, last year did not help that case. Didn't even it out at all. But still, the ratio is not good.
And to say this is a guy who won SEC Coach of the Year in 2018, do you look at it now? It's like.
But that's 7 years ago, you know?
7 years ago, yeah. But who was the quarterback in 2018? Was that Will Levis or was that before Will Levis?
Are we good? Look it up real quick.
Oh.
Come on, man. Rookie.
Am I stupid? No, giving me Zach Calzada. It's not Zach Calzada. Oh, Terry Wilson.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
Listen, in 2018, I was a freshman in high school, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So I wasn't
that's all you cared about.
I wouldn't really care about college football.
Yeah, it's fair, man.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about what's next a little bit, but it's like, Tennessee is so dangerous, and I know they just like dropped to Bama and dropped all these games, but dropped to Georgia as well. But Joey Aguilar is like still a guy who can take over a game and have, I think, a performance way better than Arch Manning put out against Kentucky.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's kind of, like you said, that explosive style of game, almost similar to how Ole Miss and Kentucky's game was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an outcome I can really see with. But on the flip side, I think Kentucky dominates Auburn. Yeah, I really do. That was one of my wins early on in the year. I think I said Tennessee or Vandy was the upset.
No, but I do remember people saying Auburn will be that upset win, and I think I put that too as the upset win, and people are like, Auburn won't be an upset. Auburn won't be an upset. And at one point of the season, they looking like they were going to be an upset, but now it's not an upset.
I ain't believing it. If Jackson Arnold's at quarterback,
yeah, it's not.
They're a horrible
team. Yeah, they're horrible offense wise.
If Deuce Knight ever gets in, it's like, oh, watch out, we got another Bryce Underwood over here.
So do you think the Cats can take down Tennessee at home?
There's a chance. Like I said, I think it will be like the Ole Miss game where it kind of gets out of hand at one point and maybe they're scrambling. But that was so early on in the year.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even have Trinidad Chambliss at QB during that game either. So, like, that's a totally different offense.
That's true. I'm interested to see if Tennessee wants to go offense and just, like, say, all right, Kentucky, keep up. And it's like Kentucky will not keep up. But I think their defense, if they play how they did against Texas, can kind of limit that a little bit.
I just feel like the Tennessee offense is faster, though, and higher power than the Texas offense.
I agree.
So it's harder to kind of say, oh, well, if they can do what they did versus Texas, because I don't know if they can do what they did versus Texas.
Yeah.
Because if you're the Kentucky defense, you already know you're playing way more snaps than you want to, right? Because the offense isn't going to be out on the field for very long. Well, Texas was an exception. Obviously, those 86 plays is crazy, crazy. But in the last, against Georgia, defense was on the field for a long time, like 35 minutes, a long time. So, like, I think if they can keep the defense fresh and hold them, you know what I mean. If you can hold them to maybe a first down and then one first down a drive, max 2 first downs a drive, and you get the offense out there and you just do the Cutter's longest pass against Texas was 18 yards. If you just do West Coast style offense, short yardage plays, just get up the field, kind of match that Tennessee tempo, I think it'll help, because if you're like, all right, listen, well, the Tennessee offense is used to the tempo, but is the Tennessee defense used to this tempo? who knows? You know
That's
what I
fair.
mean?
I think one thing Cutter gives me the vibes of is like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Joe Flacco, for example.
Joey
Joe
Bombs,
Flacco spams his top receiver.
Yeah.
We've seen like Jamar Chase just had a historic game.
Yeah.
Remember,
Like 13 catches.
Amari Cooper broke the Browns franchise record and had like 240 yards.
I remember that.
And it's like Cutter shares the wealth. And it doesn't matter
if 12 different pass catchers on against Texas.
Exactly. And that's a mix of tight ends. It's a mix of running backs, receivers, obviously, even a fullback at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what's good about him and why he's improved every week. Because imagine if he had a Jamar Chase. I thought Kendrick Law was going to be insane. I think he's shown his potential here and there.
I still don't think they're using him correctly, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But you saw that big grab by Hardley.
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously Willie and Josh are insane.
Willie and Josh have had
end.
great years. Like both of them, I feel like are having great years.
And McClelland was so important in the pass game too.
Bro, and he went to the hospital in the middle of the game and came back.
Wearing
like,
a chromed out Rolex.
Like,
he don't care. He does not care, dude.
We do not care. But like, bro, he was so nice.
So again, my point. I completely believe in like Cutter's offense now.
Yeah.
Because what he put on tape against Georgia was actually like a great game.
It was a great. What he put up against Texas was also a great game. And he's had many games where it's been like, all right. The only bad game he put up was South Carolina.
I agree. Yeah.
I think so.
What do you hold against a kid who's starting in
his first night game in the SEC? Like, you can't hold that against him.
So it's
he just turned 20. You know, it's like it's tough. It's tough for guys like that.
Agreed.
It's hard. You know, I got real deflated thinking about how we're gonna have to talk about this whole weekend because I was like, you know, for the first time I've ever seen in my life, Kroger Field had security guards wrapping the perimeter and fans down to the ropes ready to get over and get onto the field. And it was like such an unreal feeling, you know, such an unreal feeling to be in that environment. And then to see...
You even had like social media stars. Like Bordeaux was there.
Bordeaux, like the most random, like, and this is a homecoming game, and you could feel the energy. You could feel the vibe was shifting. And the later the game went on, people were like, yo, I think we can do
I went
this.
to the Florida game where Kentucky upset them, and similar vibes. Yeah. Like, I was up in the nosebleeds and ended up still getting on the field. That's how crazy it was back then.
Yeah, and
so
that was,
like
2021?
Yeah, so I don't know. We were expecting it. It sucks.
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, it's deflating for us, but it's much more deflating for Cutter and for the guys who are just trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, but I said it in our stand-up after the game, but thank goodness basketball is here. Always will be a basketball school. Sorry, Mark Stoops.
Sorry, Stoops.
Sorry, man. We have to go with John Calipari on that.
Somebody commented on the live stream last night, it'd be real funny if Stoops went to join Cal at Arkansas. That would be pretty crazy.
Hey, there's a universe where that's happened before.
Yeah.
I completely am so ready to watch Purdue and Kentucky.
Oh my, I'm so excited.
I gotta add Braden Smith on Twitter and like let him know my beard's better.
Really?
Man. I'm tired of the Braden Smith.
Hey, listen, man. People say I look like you, but I think I'm cuter than you. Like,
I do.
All right, man.
Listen, I don't know. This may be a deep cut, but I remember. You remember, like, early in the off season when they were saying there's a top point guard thinking about transferring to Kentucky. That was him. There's a point where it was kind of being whispered about that he was going to be a Wildcat. And
yeah, but Kentucky fans whisper a lot of things.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's they're like Lakers fans where it's like everyone's getting traded to the Lakers.
True.
You know, everyone's coming
wrong.
to Kentucky. Hunter Dickinson was a cat at one point in everybody's mind. So
yeah, Yaxel Lindenberg.
Was also.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jordan Wilkerson.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like
that.
that.
But this whole offseason, he was a name that was brought up really early. And it's like, I wonder how close that ever got.
Yeah.
Or if it was just like some board talk with the
My
fans.
guess is like The national championship, probably.
What? I'm asking like how far the discussion went.
Yeah. But I'm saying like once Purdue was like, "Yo, we could do this again," he was probably like, "I'm not going anywhere." You know what I mean?
They think they can actually win it all.
Yeah.
When they never have.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. In their entire program
like,
history.
We can run it back.
They
try to actually pull it together.
They got an Alabama.
R.I.P. Zach Edey, bro. He was like the closest thing that school was ever going to have to somebody who was going to win them a chip.
Oh, yeah. I'm with that. For sure.
At least in recent memory.
Well, I just think like Kentucky can still beat them without Jaland Lowe and Jaden Quaintance.
Yeah.
And you're going to put both of those back on.
Purdue's getting that Tennessee treatment, man. Except at least they made the Final Four.
Yeah, that's the worst part. I think we haven't even got to. If you want to talk about a mellow, sad football episode, Jaland Lowe went down with a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
We heard from reports saying it popped and all this. We did get an update. Thank goodness we got an update quick. The MRI came back negative. Coach Pope said he'd be a madman to already put him back on the court, but like what he's done the past 48 hours is insane. Made a little nod to what he said about Jaden Quaintance, because if JQ is like Captain America with the injuries, and I'm sure Jaland Lowe doesn't follow far behind.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Cats definitely dodged a bullet.
Yeah, it could have been really bad.
Could have been horrible. Yeah. I mean, he could end up with a Lamont Butler situation where he's shooting with a brace all year.
I'm pretty sure the report was that this was like something re-agitated from like way early in the summer.
Yeah.
Which that sucks, but you'll deal with that.
Because it's like, well, he could re-agitate it again, in the middle of the season. So it's got to be careful.
And also kind of glad it's nothing new where he's going to miss like a crazy amount of time. There's no timetable right now, but there's still like, he could play after the first couple games of the year. Like there's not a doubt about that right now, or it doesn't seem to be one. So
yeah, I think
it's not like he's
he misses,
out for half the season or anything.
He misses
like
2 weeks. Like I think he misses the first 3 games max. He'll probably be fine. Like
completely agree.
Yeah,
so,
I mean it's definitely a good look for him and for Cats fans.
The video is disheartening.
Hard to watch. Yeah,
because I was at work, man, and it's like, we got our Lane Mills over there covering the thing, and it's just like you see the group chat and you open Twitter and it's everywhere. I'm seeing videos and tweets like the curse has began, and I'm like, bro, you're a cornball. Like you're an Arkansas basketball page, but whatever.
Bro, whatever, man. Do we want to rip some Tennessee score predictions real quick? Heart.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here,
I'm trying to think.
It's tough because Texas threw me off, man.
Kept by 90.
Because we were talking last week, 35-14 or whatever, and they go in there at 16-13. Well, I'm talking against Texas, and then you come into this game, it's like it could actually be 35-14. Like this could be the exact same outcome as we thought it was going to be with Texas, but this could also be a Cats win. So I don't. You go first. I don't know.
Oh gosh, don't put me first. I like Kentucky for 24.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tennessee's going to have like 27 or 30.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to go 30-24 Tennessee.
I think 20-24. 20-24 Tennessee. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Hey, we're optimistic, man. I made a believer out of you.
Well, I think the game.
I made a believer out of you.
I think Cutter's making a believer out of me because he's playing some damn good football.
I told you, man. I told you. Cutter's the truth. And
we've been saying that.
I guess we have. I think a lot of people were down on him after South Carolina. And then when they lost to Georgia, I think
but
they're
these
like,
are
same old
people
Kentucky.
who are down on him after South Carolina are people who've never watched a step of college football in their life, because it's
so?
Yes, bro. I'm like, this is basically a 19-year-old kid who's coming in here, redshirt freshman, SEC environment, night game in one of the hardest places to play in the country.
Yeah.
Like a few drives don't go his way. He's obviously going to get down on himself. The team's but that's comes back to the coaching and comes back to the mentorship, and We could talk about this forever. But
I do
let's
remember.
not.
I do remember him saying after the South Carolina game, like he feels himself progressing and getting better.
Yeah, he said he
inches away,
realizing what he was wrong with and what he needs to get better.
Gave us 600 yards and like 3 touchdowns since. So
yeah,
I ain't against it, Cutter.
Sounds good to me, man.
Playing good, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing remarks, sir?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I'm ready for basketball.
I feel you. They beating Purdue?
Yeah.
We already gave our score predictions, I'm pretty sure, for that. But,
that's okay.
We all know. Cats by 90.
I think we said somewhere in the 70s, 80s. And they'll get it.
Otega's dropping 50, you think?
I don't even think he's going to play
the
more
next
than
LeBron?
15 minutes.
Ooh, Mo D. LeBron. Triple-double. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and listening to another episode. Make sure to check out all our socials, KY Insider, on everything. Make sure, if you're watching this, to comment who you're looking forward to watching the most this season. Any of the players. I'm excited to watch Cam Williams. I think he's going to be insane.
JQ, man.
Excited for JQ.
I am so excited for JQ to have an Anthony Davis type season,
hype.
bro.
Whoa.
You saw the hype video.
Yep. Okay.
Man, I'm looking at the picture.
Well, AD comparison.
Dude.
That big shoes to fill, dog.
Big shoes to fill. A lot of blocks. Gonna need a lot of blocks for that.
More than
every other team.
12 D1 teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, make sure to tune in every Wednesday. We'll have a new episode up, and we'll see you all in the next one.